What up, muchachos? Lod Fader back here with another free pick for you guys. This time it's going to be for UFC Fight Night Blaydes versus Lewis. The play will be for the main event between Curtis Blaydes and Derrick Lewis. I'll be playing the over 2.5 rounds at plus 110. All right, so let's start with Derrick Lewis real quick. I mean, he is about a 4-1 underdog, but obviously has a lot of punching power, has a puncher's chance in this situation. Curtis Blaydes is a tough guy to knock out, though. Has never been knocked out cold. Has been knocked down twice. Once by Mark Hunt, recovered pretty quickly, landed a takedown within 10 seconds of being knocked down. The second time was against Francis Ngannou, which led to a stoppage of that fight. A little bit of an early stoppage. Anyway, you could argue that, but bottom line was that what you can't argue is that Curtis Blaydes was totally fine after. So even Francis Ngannou wasn't able to knock him out cold. And the first stoppage against Ngannou was a doctor's stoppage. His eye had swollen up. So he's a tough guy. Has a pretty hard chin. And then if you look at Derrick Lewis, besides stopping Alexei Oleinik in his most recent fight, you have to go all the way back to 2017 for the last time that he was able to stop someone under 2.5 rounds. So that's Derrick Lewis. Definitely a threat. Has a puncher's chance, but I just laid out the facts for you there. Curtis Blaydes is obviously the more serious threat to stopping this fight in under 2.5 rounds. He is a massive favorite in this fight. You look at the guys that that Curtis Blaydes was able to stop: Alexei Oleinik, Shamil Abdurakhimov, Junior Dos Santos, and Alistair Overeem. The guys that he wasn't able to stop went to decision. Justin Willis, that's 3-round decision. Mark Hunt, 3-round decision. Alexander Volkov, 3-round decision. Those three guys that he went to decision with, what they all have in common is they have a weight advantage over Curtis Blaydes. The guys that he stopped didn't. Now that's important for pretty obvious reasons, right? It's easier to control someone when you have a weight advantage. The bigger guys can absorb the shots that Curtis Blaydes throws better than the smaller guys. Now I'm not going to talk too much about the fight between Alexander Volkov and Curtis Blaydes because Volkov is very good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very good off of his back, always a threat with submissions. He's got those long-ass legs. Curtis Blaydes had to worry about getting caught in a submission and losing a fight that he was dominating. In that fight, he's not going to have to worry about that in this fight against Derrick Lewis. So I'm more going to focus on his fights with Justin Willis and Mark Hunt, who both stylistically are pretty similar to Derrick Lewis. Now in the fight with Mark Hunt, you saw Curtis Blaydes on his feet a little more than we have. Most recent fights look to get it to the ground as quick as possible. I mean, that's what he did against Justin Willis. That's what he did against Alexander Volkov. So really, to me, the fight between him and Justin Willis is the most comparable to the fight between his upcoming fight between him and Derrick Lewis. And what we saw in that fight was Curtis Blaydes repeatedly take Justin Willis down. I don't see Derrick Lewis stopping very many of Blaydes' takedowns. His takedown defense is okay, but Curtis Blaydes is just a different animal. He will get him to the ground, pretty much whenever he wants to. Now, what Curtis Blaydes is going to do is he's going to wear on his opponent. He's going to make him carry his weight around. He's going to smother his opponent. He doesn't like to posture up and land big strikes. He doesn't even like to move through his opponent's guard. If he gets in the half guard, he likes to just stay there, smother them, throw those short elbows, short punches to the stomach. He will posture up to land big shots once he feels like he's got good control of his opponent and they're tired, once he's got them exhausted. Because he doesn't want to give any opportunities to Derrick Lewis, just like he didn't want to give to Justin Willis, to explode and get back up to the feet. The early part of this fight, you're going to see Curtis Blaydes focus on gassing out Derrick Lewis. He's not going to want to be on the feet with him very much. And we've seen in Derrick Lewis's most recent fights, he's been fighting grapplers lately. No one with the wrestling pedigree that Curtis Blaydes has, but nonetheless, all three of his opponents were able to get him to the ground. And what we saw from Derrick Lewis is he's very calm when he gets down there, doesn't expend a lot of energy, waits for his moment to explode and get back to his feet. And that's why Curtis Blaydes isn't going to posture up to throw big strikes, isn't going to move through his opponent's guard early in the fight, because he doesn't want to give those opportunities to his opponent. And we saw that in the fight with Justin Willis. With Justin Willis, he postured up and landed one big shot for the entire 3 rounds. And it was in the first round. And once he did that, Justin Willis was able to improve his position on the bottom. And you never saw Curtis Blaydes do that again, because I guess at no point he felt like he could do it without allowing Justin Willis to get back up to his feet. That fight, if you took the over in that fight, it went pretty much as bad as it could go. Curtis Blaydes got Willis to the ground immediately. He was in terrible positions. He had his back. He was mounted at one point. He was in side control. But at the same time, you never saw a look of panic on Willis's face. He looked more like annoyed, like, oh shit, now I'm stuck here. He never looked like he was threatened. So to me, if Justin Willis was able to survive 3 rounds against Curtis Blaydes, if Mark Hunt was able to survive 3 rounds against Curtis Blaydes, then Derrick Lewis should be able to. And he's in much better shape than those guys. Derrick Lewis is in great shape these days. He weighed in at 263 pounds yesterday. I mean, that's insane. This is a guy that used to cut down from 300 pounds to make 265. He's got his weight down. He's worked on his conditioning. At some point in the fight, he will get frustrated. He will try to force the action. He's not just gonna lay on his back for all 5 rounds. But early on, he's smart enough to know that once I'm on the ground, trying to just randomly explode and panic is just gonna make him more tired. And Curtis Blaydes is perfectly content to lay on Derrick Lewis, wear him out. Like I said, throw short strikes. I do believe at some point Curtis Blaydes will start to try and look for the finish, but I don't think it's going to be early in the fight. We've never seen him do it like that. He's a very smart fighter. In his interview with Ariel straight up asked him, do you feel pressure to get a finish because of the criticism that you've received from fans, from Dana White? And he said no. He said, I'm going to go out there and wrestle. I'm going to do what it takes to win. But we do see that Blaydes will get aggressive. He will try and finish his opponent. But again, not until he feels like he's got them completely controlled on the ground, gassed out, and I do think that Derrick Lewis is conditioned enough to make it through 2.5 rounds. He's shown a level of comfort when he's been on the ground, as comfortable as he can be on the ground in his most recent fights. So I really like this play. I love that we're getting it at a dog price. Give me the over 2.5 rounds in the main event between Curtis Blaydes and Derrick Lewis. Thanks for watching. Best of luck if you're tailing. Have a great day.